Terrifying beauty, inhospitable grandeur. It has made and will continue to make an enlightening experience for all.
Antarctica has always been a forlorn, lost place. It's always been on the edges of fantasy, and yet when you get there, it isn't.
To begin our voyage, we leave the beautiful city of Ushuaia and set sail across the Drake Passage. On our way, we start to see the first glimpses of the landscape and wildlife that awaits us on our adventure together.
Hello Voyagers, and welcome to the inaugural Space2Sea Voyage of Legends to Antarctica. Well, the Drake Passage is behind us, and today we arrived at the amazing location of Elephant Island, where Shackleton departed for his famous rescue mission, and his men were stranded for 4 months in that little tiny beach right before the winter. This story is a story of resilience, and this is who we are as a species, and this is what we're celebrating on this voyage. This location is always super choppy and impossible to go on a Zodiac. And guess what? Today, the condition allowed us. We're super lucky to go and experience the magic of this location on a Zodiac. Antarctica is a place of scale. The scale of things is so huge, and there's a physicality to it that you can't comprehend until you experience it. You can read it in books, you can talk about it, you can watch it on television, but to be here, to see it, to feel it, to experience it, that is what people have been coming here for. It's that physicality, and I think our voyagers today really experienced it for the first time.
After Elephant Island, the next day, we continue our exploration of the Antarctic Peninsula.
Well, what a fantastic day, everyone. I'm Brent Houston, a penguin biologist here on the Seabourn Venture. We're on a very special voyage to Antarctica, and today we've been able to see the Adelie penguins. The Adelie penguins are my absolute favorite. We took a Zodiac cruise this morning in a small bay off the tip of the Tabarin Peninsula of Antarctica called Hope Bay. It's the site of tens of thousands of Adelie penguins that are breeding there on the shorelines. And we went out in and amongst them while they were playing on the ice and coming down from the shore where they have their tiny little chicks this time of year. We got to see them coming and going to their nesting sites. You had the dirty penguins coming down from the nests and the clean ones going up to their nests after swimming out to feed in the open ocean.
I've never seen any creature so clumsy on land and so agile in the water. That's very impressive. And I don't mean to laugh at them when they stumble along on the ground and on ice, but I have to laugh because they're hilarious.
In the afternoon, the ship made its way over to Kinnis Cove. Lots of pack ice around today. Some Adelies hanging out on that pack ice because there are almost 1 million of them breeding in this area. We've been pushing the ice with the ship, ice-strengthened ship, the Venture. She's sturdy and strong and beautiful, wonderful ship to do this. There's fast ice, which is ice held fast to the land, and that is where the Adelies are coming and going to their colonies or rookeries up in the islands here. This is an epic voyage that we're on. Lots of fun, science, learning, sharing our information, our love, our passion for the natural world, and especially for the Antarctic Peninsula.
As we leave Kinnis Cove, our next day of operations brings us even more unique experiences on this very special voyage.
My name is Dr. Lita Teneva, and welcome to Deception Island. Today, we had the first chance to actually set foot on land in Antarctica. This morning, we were in Whalers Bay. A lot of very interesting human history there from both science and the whaling industry days of the early 20th century. We saw the places where they boiled whale blubber, where they stored oil, and we saw remnants of scientific bases that the British used from 1944 until 1969, where they were rejected from the island by a massive eruption. Very lucky to also see some penguins, and they delighted us with their curious walks around the beach and their swims right next to our boats.
So I had an idea of what Antarctica would be like, how beautiful it was from television, documentaries and stuff, but when you see it here in person, you're absolutely awestruck by the beauty of it, the magnitude of it, isolation of it, kind of very similar to before you fly in space for the first time. You have a sense of what you're going to see based on what people said or wrote or things you saw on TV, but then when you get there, you're like, wow, there was really no comparison to what I had envisioned in my imagination. And it was very, very similar experience to that.
Antarctica is a good analog to space. You know, it brought back memories of me being up in space or training for the missions, because we did cold weather training also, all these type of things. So yes, it was a very good analog to a space mission.
This afternoon, right now, we are in a place called Telephone Bay. This is one giant volcano. The entire island is a sunken caldera. 10,000 years ago, this volcano rose up from the ocean and exploded a number of times, then collapsed on itself, creating a bay, making this the only place where you can bring a ship into an active volcano. We know we're safe because scientists are still studying this active volcano, and they have warnings if there are any tremors. I love Deception Island. There's hardly anywhere else on Earth that looks anything like it, and it's very appropriate for our trip, Space2Sea, to be able to set foot on an island in an environment that looks otherworldly.
What a Christmas Eve we've had. My name's Joe, I'm the Assistant Expedition Leader on Sea1 Venture, and we've had just the most amazing Christmas Eve. We started off in the Melchior Islands for a Zodiac cruise, stunning Zodiac cruise, beautiful and calm, lots of snow, lots of ice, some really nice blue icebergs. We had a great view of a young humpback whale feeding repeatedly in the calm waters around us. Seeing a humpback whale up close is one of the great joys of coming to Antarctica. They are phenomenal creatures, massive, 15 meters, maybe up to 18 meters for the biggest ones. That's a huge animal. Seeing these majestic beasts feeding up close is amazing to see. Then we left the Melchiors on our way to this evening's destination, Neko Harbour. Neko is always one of our favourite places to come. Stunning scenery all the way around us. The glacier behind us has been calving. We've seen avalanches coming down off the top of the mountains. And of course, the Gentoo penguins. One of the best things about Neko is these Gentoo penguins. Being able to see them up close, really understanding the fine details of their lives. It's a very Antarctic experience. And then with a little hike up the hill, we're seeing them at their nesting sites, very busy underway, incubating eggs. And again, if we walk up even higher, spectacular views across the bay of Neko Harbour. A continental landing is always super special. It's nice to visit the islands. Most of the landing places we come to in Antarctica are the offshore islands. But to be on the continent itself, on the mainland, is super special. Do you know that if you are tough enough and you had the time, technically you could walk to the South Pole from here? We're not going to, we won't be back in time for dinner, but amazing to feel that we are really on the edge of that mainland Antarctica. Feels like we're stepping in the footsteps of those exploratory heroes from centuries ago. What an incredible day, a Christmas Eve that none of us will ever forget.
On Christmas Day, we stopped for a beautiful Zodiac cruise at Jugala.
I said, I'm gonna come to a place that's isolated, desolate, cold, and I'm gonna be uncomfortable, and everything's the opposite. You see these great populations of penguins. You see some seals, you see some orcas and some whales, and it's just amazing of the life that's here.
We had the luck on this trip to participate in the glory of the Antarctic with its incredible mountains and snow and ice falls and icebergs and wildlife. And we saw the whole magic, and it is a place that is the way the world was so many eons ago. It is ferocious and friendly at the same time.
Each stop was different from the other stop in its own way, and I valued that. Clearly, the expedition directors and others who were in charge of scheduling these things had in mind that each stop would be a different life experience. I don't rank life experiences. I just value that they're different from one another.
One of the things I liked about this trip the most are the guests that decided to come and join us. They're, diverse in their experience, but very, very similar in how they feel about the environment, about exploration, about space flight. So for me, that was one of the most special things about this voyage.
For our final day of this voyage, we sail through the Newmar Channel and spot some incredible wildlife.
I'm Patrick, your expedition leader, and what an incredible day we've had here with the orcas in the Newmar Channel. It's been a fantastic ending to our incredible voyage here in Antarctica. It's been one highlight after the other, and it's just been so fantastic to have such an amazing group of people on board here for this future of space voyage. Antarctica to me is the last frontier, it's the last wilderness. It is still so untouched by humans, it's still so rough and tough, and it's not for everybody to come down to Antarctica. Being the expedition leader on the Future Space Charter has been my greatest privilege, and it's been a fantastic experience working with such amazing people and being able to work with such a fantastic expedition team to make dreams come true has been a highlight of my career.
It started with a question, right? A question to William Shatner, do you want to go to Antarctica? And that question turned into a vision. And that vision was supported, it was believed in, it was executed, and now it's being experienced. So this voyage is the culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people, belief in making things happen, and this is what we want to offer the world.
Everyone here is an explorer, and Antarctica has far exceeded my expectations. It's an excursion I'll never forget.
I learned a lot about how an extraordinary place this is. We need to keep this environment as pristine, as beautiful as it always was, because, you know, as humans, we generally don't do that. I mean, we've polluted, destroyed a lot of the ecosystems on the rest of the planet, but at least we still have this place, and we need to keep it like it is.
We have this common mutual interest. We have an interest in protecting our environment, in appreciating nature, and promoting space exploration. It creates a very initial strong bond that as the 10 days go by, it strengthens that bond. And I know it's gonna result in lifelong friendships that started here. And I'm so excited about that because I feel like I just made 200 new friends.
It's been such a unique experience, both externally and internally. The ship trip was advertised as a lifetime experience, and it is, it has been. It's been monumental. The people and the journey will be with me for the rest of my life.